So now you have a gold album.
Yeah.
What really changes in terms of the band itself and the relationships?
Well, I think as far as that, it's just we try to figure out where we go from there. At the time, mind you, there was always a challenge within a record company because there was always somebody at the helm that got fired, like a general manager, right in the middle of our campaign. So it would kind of mess everything up. You know, at that time, after Definition of a Band record, we actually wanted to get off of A&M just because it wasn't, the joint venture with Jam & Lewis and A&M had fizzled. They didn't want to renew or whatever it was. So we felt we were like the stepchildren of A&M. So right in the middle of that CD or album, it was, we were on A&M all of a sudden. You know, us and, you know how they do that. They take a couple of artists who they want. And so we were dealing directly with the parent company, so to speak. And it was a little weird. They didn't really get it. They didn't understand it, you know. They just had a different way, just like any new regime that comes in. They're just trying to get filled in, and they was a bunch of stuff that, you know, we were beyond. They were like, oh, we'll give you this. We did, you know, it's like, look, man, we understand when we were being gassed up, you know. And we just wanted off, so that's what happened. We gave them a couple songs, and they were like, you know, peace, you know, which brought us over to Elektra. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's when Life's Aquarium came out.
Right, yeah.
Now, what was different about the fourth album?
The fourth album was a great piece of art, we think, still to this day. It didn't sell as well as we would have liked. I think, again, you have people who are more they're thinking about more like profits and loss, which, you know, record companies, they're in it for business, you know. The music is kind of a vehicle to get them there, so to speak. But there's certain things that artists need that a label won't really understand, the inner workings of it, you know. So we felt, in a way, they gave us, you know, it was a great deal, but then at the same time, there were some things that they cut our legs off, where we couldn't really do what we needed to do as far as tour support to really rise, get to that next level. It's like we went halfway there, but then we just couldn't. So we made our own way. We hopped on the Toni Braxton tour, and we did stuff. That was with Toni Braxton and Kenny G at the time. And then we did some stuff overseas where we just Mint Condition and Toni Braxton. We were supporting her, of course. But we got to do a lot more. We had more time, like 40, 45 minutes, so we got to burn it out a little bit. And so that exposed us to the international crowd a lot more, because our records at that point were just like import, you know, and people wanted it over there. So, yeah, that was but a great piece of work, great album, great songs on there. That one was different because I think it was more, dare I say, like radio friendly. I think all of them have been like radio friendly, you know, but it's just more of what we do. It's like more, we dove more into the, I guess, pop sensibilities. And Keri Lewis is we can attribute him the success of that sound to him, is that sensibility. So mixing all that stuff together, it came out like that sonically, which was a great thing. So I mean, that was the difference. You know, I think Definition of a Band was a little bit more raw. Life's Aquarium was probably a little bit more polished, you know.
So Keri Lewis ends up marrying Toni Braxton.
Mm-hmm.
Was this before the tour, after the tour, during
that was
the tour?
After the tour. So they met on the tour. Yeah, they met on the tour, of course, and you know, it happened on the tour bus. The love connection, you know, so to speak. And yeah, that's pretty much how that went down. And then all that happened, as they say. And yeah, here we are.
So one of the group members marries Toni Braxton, and then he leaves the group to focus on the marriage?
Yeah, focus on marriage, and you know, just your life moves in another direction, you know, kind of thing. You find it, Yeah, hard enough you get older, you find in that the relationship, love, you know, whatever, is hard, you know, especially in this industry. So if you find it, keep it, you know, protect it, you know, shield it, man. So as much as you can. So for us, it changed the sound a little bit, and had to stumble a little bit and try to figure out what it's going to feel like, what it's going to sound like post Keri. And I remember having a gig. The first gig without her, remember, was at Paisley Park. Prince had invited us to his this event he was calling Love for One Another. He would have around his birthday, around that time. And we went out there and played, and he was on side, you know, checking it out. And he was like, "This is the next single." We played one of these songs that he loved. And yeah, so it felt, really, it was different, but it was cool. We had a different energy. You know, sometimes, you know, one person can change the energy of anything, you know, when they walk into a room or when they leave a room, you know. So it was pretty much that, yeah.
So when Keri Lewis left the group, how did the rest of the group take it? Because from what I understand, you're the only one that went to his wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wondering, well, some of the guys had wanted to, and, you know, some of it technically worked out or didn't work out, you know, in their favor. And of course, just like you know, I've been married to these dudes longer than my actual marriage to my wife, you know. But, you know, make no mistake, when you're dealing with human beings, it's the same thing. Whereas just, you know, I had a musical marriage with them, and it's married to each other in that way. So, but feelings get hurt, things get said, you know, we fight, fuss. In our earlier days, we used to physically fight. You know, it was just like you brothers in the room fighting, tussling, throwing blows, whatever, you know.
Oh, so you guys actually got real fist fights going on?
Yeah, there were some blows, there was some bombs thrown, but you know, but that's, you know, it's young and dumb, just arguing over dumb shit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but yeah, you got to go through that, man, to get to the other side. You know, you grow up and you realize what the real thing is, you know what I mean? You realize what's worth it, you know, what's a battle and what's a war, you know, when to push, when to pull back, but definitely learn respect for each other, you know, as men growing, and you got to go through that. So, but that's what brothers do. That's what family does sometimes, you know what I mean? So we've been through it, you know, all that stuff with each other. So, and we've tried to protect that, you know, even with Keri and his situation, everything that he's been through, it's like we're really protective of that. So, of course, that was at that time, he was, Keri did his thing, and there was, you know, it was like, man, anytime somebody leaves, it was like the Jackson when, like, oh, man, he didn't mess up the group, man, you know, that kind of vibe. But I was like, you know what, I go and support him because it's like life is short. It's shorter than that. You know, and anything can happen to either one of us. And I don't want to be regretting anything, you know. So I had, you know, went to it and it's like, look, wish you well, whatever your journey is, man. You know, we'll meet up at some time. You know, I always consider him, you know, kind of open-ended. We've actually done some gigs with him. It's in recent years, so I mean, yeah, it's all good. But that happened.